Hangouts.
It ain't easy, and now we're live. Hello, everyone. I'm here. Oh, I'm here with Erica, but I've clicked on myself. So, Erica, say hello now.
Hello, nice people. Hello, hello, hello.
Yay, there you are.
Or I should have said, hello, Erica.
Yes, because you've been doing a lot of that lately. Thank you.
Do it.
So I'm back, but not for an episode. I'm back for me and for you.
Yeah.
So I'm not I'm not prepared for much. But I was actually missing doing this, and so when you pinged me today, I thought, oh heck, I'll just race back from the grocery store. Here I am.
Aw, this is so much more fun than grocery shopping.
Oh yes, and it's stupid because here it's a bit of a schlep to get to the grocery store. So on top of everything else, the drive is annoying. It takes a long time. There is a market that's close by, but they don't have staples, and I can see my bangs are all messed up. On top of everything else.
That's right, hanging in my face.
Hey, yours are nice and long though. Are you growing them out forever and ever?
No, I just had them cut, and next time I got to tell her either or cut them shorter. The length she's been cutting them is just an awkward length where they won't go back behind my ear, but they won't stay out of my eyes either. So
that is not.
But if that's the biggest problem in life, I'm doing well. So
fair point. Indeed.
Yeah.
So how is everybody in the chat window? That was a thing too far. I'm not able to open the chat window without bombing the broadcast.
I see Tara and AT and Robin, and I'm not sure if there's anybody else.
Cool.
And anybody from the US, that was from Romper Room, a preschool TV show way back in the day. And the teacher had this magic mirror, and she would look and she would name off all these kids that she used to see. And I used to always watch, hoping she'd say my name. And she never, ever, ever did say she saw Erica. I was so just
monster.
I know.
So wrong.
I know. And well, never mind. There's a joke in there somewhere, but I'm not going to go there.
Yes. So what have you been working on, Erica, who I haven't seen or talked to in ages?
I know. Well, the first thing is, and you know this, Heather, but the gang in the chat room doesn't know this because I found out, I think, right after the chat last week, is that big blue pie shawl I was working on. Just on a whim, I submitted it to Knitpicks because it's Knitpicks yarn. I submitted it for their independent designer partnership for them to publish to see if they wanted to. And the website says that you'll hear back within 6 to 8 weeks, but really probably within 30 days. Mm-hmm. I heard back the next day. I submitted Monday. I heard back Tuesday. Yes, they're interested. They want to publish it. So it's out with the tech editor right now and being tested. And we got some pictures over the weekend, and Andrew took some terrific pictures, as Heather can vouch.
Yes,
she saw one of, and what I didn't show you, Heather, and I'll find a way for us to show the gang once it's published, is Andrew did a slow motion video of me turning and swirling this great big circular shawl. It was great.
How very sexy.
He did it several times, but the first one was the only one that really came out. The others were pretty hilarious. But that was fun. And so MTV. I don't know about that. I had too many clothes on for it to be MTV. But see, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, and I only fell down 4 times while I was out taking pictures.
That's awesome. You're getting less and less accident prone.
Of course, I was wearing Abby's white jeans at the time.
Oh, God.
So I haven't checked. Hopefully the bleach load I just did got the stains out. Yes, Tara, only in AT, only 4 times. But that's because we didn't go to the last place because I could tell I was getting tired, and I didn't want to tempt fate. I knew if I fell one more time, I was going to hurt myself for real. I just got a little, scrape on my elbow, and actually you can't see it, or I'd show you a picture. It just doesn't really show in the picture, but I jammed my left pinky, and by later in the day, it was puffy and it was bruised right around the top knuckle and tender, and it's still a little stiff, but it's no big deal. It's definitely not broken. I hurt it. I didn't injure it. Let's put it that way. I pulled an Erica. It was, you're by the river trying to step on rocks out to the big rock because it will look really cool to get your picture with the shawl on the big rock. And yeah, I stepped on a rock that wasn't stable, and down I went.
We did a little bit of that.
The last time I fell was Andrew's fault. So it was after taking pictures. We were walking back up the hill, and he was helping me. He was behind me, helping me.
Oh, God.
And he didn't realize I'd gotten all the way to the top, and he was still pushing, and I went down.
That is an I Love Lucy sketch.
The whole thing was all the different falls, and the one time I fell and I got you, Mom. I'm like, no, you don't.
I shouldn't laugh.
Tara said that Andrew was giving me a caboose boost, and yes, he was. And AT, I wouldn't really say it's all his fault because he's the one who took the awesome pictures. And
they are beautiful.
And that was just with the iPhone. That wasn't with a real camera.
Wow.
That was just with the iPhone. So
that's what an 8-megapixel camera will do.
Yes. And then the other thing I've been working on, I'll sort of, but not really show a peek at it, is this mess of lace.
Wow.
And I'm not going to show you details. So backstory. Over a year ago, I was working on a lace, garter-based lace Mobius out of Cascade Forest Hills, which is this wonderful merino silk blend, which I'm holding up to the camera, a sort of goldenrod color. And it's almost 800 yards per skein. And I got almost to the 95% done and realized I had made a mistake 16 rows back.
Oh.
There's 16 rounds back. And this is on a Mobius that's 209 stitches, which means it's really 418 stitches. And there was just no way. So I put it in the corner in timeout. And then eventually I frogged it. I frogged the whole thing because I just couldn't tink back one stitch at a time that far. That just was not going to happen.
Crazy making.
And so I never finished this. And when I had the pattern drafted and everything, well, advanced to last week in the chat room when you weren't here, chatting and Cricket Knits is here. Yay! Yes, it's Tuesday. Hello.
Yay.
Chatting with the gang, a genius idea, which I'll have to credit them on the pattern. I'm going to put together an ebook of 3 patterns, all related. I'm going to I'm going to do the Mobius again.
Oh, good.
And then using the same or very similar, because you can't, one is in the round, and so they're different. Do a half circle pie shawl.
Ooh.
And shawl, and people can either buy the individual patterns, or for a discount they can get all 3 together.
That's great.
The ebook will be called something like A Little Romance, and the different patterns I'm thinking will be crushing, falling in love, and commitment.
Oh,
so,
I like those.
Mobius and falling in love, the half circle, and commitment being the full circle. And I will knit them in appropriate colors for those emotions. So thank you to the gang for helping me come up with that idea last week.
Yes, that's very cool. We have good supportive people, though. Those are
we do, people. And they're awesome.
I know.
So that was a peek at the half circle. That's just the rough draft, though. I've do differently. What I've been working on, I did notice last night a really cool new pattern out. To me, many people love the Hitchhiker Shawl by Martina Bain. A twist on it called Hitchhiker Beyond. It's the little teeth, but in a different, on one of the short sides, the teeth are on the long side of the scarf.
Ooh.
So look that up on Ravelry. Hitchhiker Beyond. It looks like fun. Yeah. The other thing I saw is, it's not a pattern yet, but it's going to be. My friend Kat, who just Crafty Enough, she did a series of patterns of mittens for a mitten garland.
Ooh.
That were just awesome. And next year for her knit along, she's one with little mini bathing suits, and on her Ravelry page, she's got this little miniature swimsuit that she did retro style. That's just, it looks very glam, va-va-voom style, and it's just adorable, and it's tiny. I asked her if it was Barbie size or just a random size. She said it's actually smaller than Barbie size.
Whoa.
So, and for anyone who might somehow not be familiar, Barbie is a 11.5-inch tall doll with physically unrealistic proportions. When Heather's spitting out her water, impossible, because supposedly there's that woman who has had surgery to make herself, but
she'd need a birdcage corset to pull that off.
So the picture I saw was pretty gross, but worse than a birdcage corset. Ugh. As far as cooking, since we seem to talk about cooking on here also, I found a recipe that I'm going to try called, and I'll put the link in the show notes, but I saw it on Facebook actually, and saved it on my Facebook page, called Pumpkin Spice Crescents, or Pumpkin Pie Crescents. Super easy. It's pumpkin pie, canned pumpkin.
Right.
And an egg and pumpkin pie spice, and the Pillsbury crescent rolls in a can. And you roll them up, and you put a egg wash on it, and you bake them, and they look amazing. So I'm gonna have to try them. We're having people over on Friday, so I'll have to try them. I can guarantee they won't look as pretty as the ones online, but they'll taste good.
That is one of the things that I miss. It's these weird convenience things that I miss with the gluten.
Right.
And one of them is the stupid crescent rolls. Just the ability to do that. When we went up to Thousand Islands, which is where we were, which by the way is in fact where Thousand Island dressing came from. When we were up there, which is right, the border between New York and Canada is the St. Lawrence River. And so that's where these Thousand Islands are. We stopped at a grocery store before we got up to this island, and they had gluten-free puff pastry.
Nice.
Right? I mean, when was the last time I was able to do anything puff pastry like? So I made, the little elephant ears cookies, and I went nuts because I could, but they didn't have crescent rolls. Ooh, A-Team made peach pie in 4-ounce mason jars. I know that recipe thing. It was like a meme that went around before there was even an internet. Because I made those like 1,000 years ago. Oh, now my mouth is watering. That's really good. I am actually going to try something tonight that I haven't tried before, which is to make a kind of a fake risotto out of leftover rice. We got way too much rice with some Chinese food the day we got back, and it's all going to go bad. So I looked up leftover rice recipes, and there was a fake risotto. So
nice.
I don't know. Yeah, because I don't really want to stand over the stove for hours stirring. But it's not too bad. It's drier. So it's still warm here, and it's just warm enough that you don't want to turn the oven on, or really even the stove if you can get away with it. So it's crock pot and the Instant Pot as much as possible, which is kind of annoying. But it's close. I mean, you can tell now that the angle of the sun is definitely heading the right direction to cool off. And the mornings are nice and cool now. So at least we got that for the first day of school, because it's miserable.
And yeah, and your kids started school this last week or this week?
This week. So today is the second day of junior year and 7th grade. And I'm still in shock.
Tara said something funny. Shan't repeat, but about something on the show. So anyway.
Yep. Sometimes it's a good thing that these the chat windows don't get saved by YouTube anymore.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, we had some hot temperature too, because we were up in the mountains in Sierra City getting Sarah and bringing her home.
Wow, when is that?
So we brought her home yesterday.
Oh, cool.
Probably pass through the room and make a cameo appearance. She's getting ready to go hang out with a friend.
Did she have a good time?
But she is actually. So, she did, but she was definitely ready to come home and sleep in her own bed and see her friends and go to the mall, go anywhere. Being in a town of 225 people, 12 miles from the next town, to drive, no cell service. She had Wi-Fi, so she's definitely to get back to civilization. And both kids just got new phones last night. They couldn't wait until even tomorrow. We went to the AT&T store, and we've always told them, said, when can I get an iPhone? We've always said, when you. And they have now said that they will pay for it. Both got iPhones. That's another reason Sarah wants to go out, because she's downloaded Pokemon Go. Has to catch up to her dad on Pokemon Go.
Uh-huh. Did she see? I'm going to share a window with you. Hang on.
So
I have to see if I can do this. Has she seen?
holy cow, no.
So on Ravelry, if you do a search for Pokemon, that's what you
That's
get.
a lot of Pokemon stuff.
Yeah, and that's just the first page.
95% of it is crocheted.
Yeah. I think it's much easier. Someone, oh, who was it? Somebody sent me a link to was it a newspaper thing, saying that there's a woman who is randomly crochet. Oh, there. Oh no. Okay. Robin was saying there's a lady who designs Pokemon patterns online and she posts them for free. They did somebody was making them and leaving them at Pokestops so that kids would find them.
I saw that. Yes, I saw that. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And to answer Crooked Knits, she asked me if the kids pay for the phone or the monthly bill or both. Basically both. They're paying for the phone spread out. We got the plan where it's spread out over 24 months, and we're still paying for there to be a line, but they're paying the extra that it costs for that line to be an iPhone. And then eventually, soon we're going to start. Oh, Sarah, come back. Pretty soon, Sarah's going to start paying just the dollars for having another line on the account. We have all three.
Well, I bet they won't be losing their phones.
Well, and if they do, tough luck.
Right.
Oh, and here comes Sarah to say hello to all the nice peoples.
Hello.
Say hello to all the. Put your hair back.
Yeah, it's a habit now.
Well, after working in food service, she's in the habit of putting her hair back.
I understand.
Yep, I'm gonna walk there for Pokemon Go.
Wow, walking to the mall.
It's not like I haven't done
Pokemon Go.
It's not like I've walked there before.
Have fun.
Hi, AT and Tara. Everybody says hi. The world of CraftLit. Show off your phone. She got the space gray one, and Abby got the rose gold one.
Ooh.
Leave it at that. That's the only reason I picked it, because it had the word space in it.
Fair enough.
But in a case very soon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And for the geeky folks out there, she is indeed a Doctor Who t-shirt. It says Madman, like from the little that I see. My almost 18-year-old. That's what almost 18 looks like.
Wow. That's
Kid's
amazing.
loaded now. She's got way more money than I do.
Very cool.
Anywhere she spent, but
It's online.
but after today, who knows how much she'll have left after going to the mall.
I'm not gonna buy anything. Except
I'm joking.
food,
I'm
possibly,
joking.
because that's me. I spend all my money on food.
And books.
Yes, and books.
All right.
All right.
Do you need to take a bag for any books that you bought?
No, today.
Oh, all right. Have fun.
I want to wait till after my birthday. Yep.
Bye.
Later.
See you sometime. That was Sarah.
Yay! I'm glad.
Books. Yes, Sarah and AT. Sarah took when she went up for 2 months, right? She went up about this time in June. She took a box full of books and a backpack full of books, thinking that she would need them. Oh, and her Kindle. But so much she didn't get to. And now she seems to have forgotten her keys, and she is knocking at the door. Heather, take it away.
All right then. I started working on a shawl. I had gradient
Woo!
yarn that I needed to use up, but I can't get to it right now. So it'll have to wait till next week, and then I can show everybody. But it's turning out interestingly. I was looking at all those shadow shawls that have the that do the kind. It's kind of a garter stitch pattern that gives you the shadow if you look at it from an angle, and I kind of liked it, but I wasn't really committed. And then I saw another pattern, and I thought, oh, I could bake that with the gradient yarns that I've got. So, so I'm gonna try and get it to the point where I make a miter turn, and then once I have the miter started, I think I'll be able to show everybody. So I'm hoping by next week.
Nice.
But I didn't get much knitting. I didn't get nearly as much knitting done when we were up at the river as I had expected to. But part of that is because we spent our evenings playing a game called Snake Oil. Have you heard of this game before?
No. I love the sound.
Okay. It is hard to get a hold of, and for a long time even on Amazon it was sold out. But it's a I don't have the box. It's a box game. You know, it's that some toy stores might have it if they're specialty toy stores. But the whole point of the game is you go around in the circle, and one person, and the responsibility goes around. One person picks a person card, and there are two sides, and you get to decide what kind of person you are. So you could be a cheerleader or a zombie. And okay. or the next one is you could be a politician or I'm trying to remember one of the other really funny ones. Oh, or a pirate. So once that has been said, okay, the person is a pirate. Now you have 7 cards in your hand, and they are one-word items. It could be, or hyphenated words. It could be roller coaster. It could be slime, phone, toilet, snake, all these different things. They're just one-word things. And so if you have a pirate, you now have to come up with a fake product to sell to the pirate. And the person who is the pirate gets to choose who has the best product, and then you get that card, and whoever has the most of those people cards is the one who wins. I am telling you, I thought some of us were actually going to hurt ourselves. We were laughing so much because we were playing with the boys, and the crazy stuff that you wind up being kind of forced into because you've only got 7 cards is ridiculous. But it always starts out with, so you're a pirate. Your days are hard. Your days are long. You know that what you really need is a break. And because of that, we have a new product for you called Freedom Slide. If you get in trouble, you can just hop on the Freedom Slide and go straight down off your ship. You get out of jail free. It's the easiest thing in the world to use. And everybody has another ridiculous thing. And some of them are, you just get stuck in a corner where there's nothing sane in your choices. It was so much fun. And
it sounds like the kind of game that somebody who likes apples to apples would like.
Yes, it's, in fact, I think it may have been made by the same people, but it's the age group above, although honestly, younger kids could easily play it.
And it's on Amazon for $24.99.
Find it. Oh, good. And it's in stock?
Yeah. Buy now with one click.
Good. It wasn't at Christmas time.
Eligible.
Even more better. But yeah, it's like Taboo was a lot of fun. Trivial Pursuit's a lot of fun. Snake Oil, I think, has them all beat. And part of it is because it's not really, it's competitive in that you're all trying to be ridiculous and pleasingly ridiculous, but it's not competitive like the way Trivial Pursuit can get competitive sometimes.
Like Uno gets competitive, where there is no love and commitment in Uno.
Yeah, no, when marriages go out the window and stuff like that, yeah, no. Snake Oil is just about being as ridiculous as possible. And so when somebody wins, you really can't begrudge them the win because they were just ridiculous.
Ridiculous. So Tara says she could sell day-old pie to crusty bikers when she was a waitress. So it sounds like her kind of game.
Tara, you would kick butt. I know you would. It's a lot of fun.
And actually, speaking of apples to apples, there are alternate card packs that you can get for apples to apples to make it more fun.
I saw that.
And mix them in with the regular cards. One was scary ones, and I forget what the other one was. We had them separate, then they accidentally got mixed in, and that makes it more fun. So you've got like 3 times as many cards, and just you never know what you're going to get. These alternate cards are somewhere between regular apples to apples and Cards Against Humanity. They aren't quite as grown up as Cards Against Humanity, but they're more fun than the regular apples to apples cards.
I had seen, Robin just said she and her kids make up their own cards for apples to apples, which I've seen people do. But the Cards Against Humanity I was about to mention, I went through last summer. You can print out the Cards Against Humanity cards from their website. So I printed them all out, and then I went through and I pulled the ones that are just flat out obscene, or the ones that were going to get you in trouble because it would lead you to something that was obscene. And I pulled all of those out. So it was just cards. And we played that with my dad and stepmom last Christmas. And I don't think I've seen my dad laugh that hard in a long time.
Awesome.
And certainly not with the grandchildren. We all had just a great time. And both of those games, really, between Snake Oil and the Cards Against Humanity, the clean version, or cleaner
sanitized version,
yeah, it's still mildly
right. It's PG-13 instead of R.
It is PG-13 instead of R or X. There were some Cards Against Humanity cards that I had to look up.
No.
Oh, yeah. No, there were a couple. Just a couple, but...
Because we're the wrong generation, huh?
Yep. Just a little too old for a couple of those.
I bet you my kids would know.
See, that's the scary part. I don't think thing 1 would know, but thing 2 probably would.
Yeah. AT is from her Cards Against Humanity experience.
I'll bet.
And Robin says they made up their own cards because she likes Cards Against Humanity and she wanted to make apples to apples a little more fun.
Yeah, so, I can see that.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. They're fun. Those games. It's not Clue, which was referenced several times because we went and walked around several castles that are up in the islands. People were jazzed at the turn of the last century about building castles. And one of them being Mr. Singer of Singer Sewing Machines. And I have ridiculous pictures that I'll share next week of every room in this castle has multiple Singer Sewing Machines in it. But I mean the old antique ones, older ones.
That's great.
Which was kind of fun. But they every so often you'd walk into a room and the first thing you think of is Colonel Mustard with the lead pipe here. And there's another one of those age barriers where if I hadn't played that game with the kids, none of their friends know that stuff. But they, as they say, I've ruined them, because I forced them to watch old movies and play old games.
Well, sad to not know Clue.
I know, right? Oh, and Tim Curry. Yes. Oh my God. In the movie, he was so good.
Yes.
That movie was not great, but he was lovely. Lovely.
Yes, he was.
He also reads, what was it? Did he do Peter Pan? On Audible, you can get Tim Curry reading Peter Pan.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
And he is so good. He's the reason that I could hear it's not sarcasm, it's dry wit that J.M. Barrie has when he's describing the mother in the very beginning about going in, and I've talked about it before, going in and cleaning out her children's minds at the end of the day to tidy everything up so that the next day they could start off fresh and all properly arranged. And it's it is not a perfectly sweet and innocent description. There's some snark hiding in there. And Tim Curry raises his eyebrow with his voice. Just enough. He's brilliant. He's just so good. I love him. AT threw her back out doing the time warp.
And Rob had a stroke recently.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
And he's so diverse. Okay, so he did Rocky Horror. He did that Audible recording. He did a voice in one of the animated Barbie movies. He did a voice of one of the bad guys. Yes.
My gosh.
And he in a 2-part episode on Criminal Minds, he played this creepy, awful, horrible criminal. He just
he can do that.
Yeah.
He can be a good bad guy.
Just
Yep.
Robinson's stroke was 3 years ago, but he's in a wheelchair now. Oh no.
Oh wow. God, that's like Gene Wilder passing.
I know.
I spent
apparently
a few minutes this morning.
Alzheimer's, and they just chose not to publicize it.
Yeah, he requested it. Once he knew he was starting to slip, he decided he didn't want people to be sad.
Wow. He was pretty terrific.
I went through this morning and I pulled clips because we've told my kids to invite friends over this weekend, and we will show them Blazing Saddles, the producers, and Young Frankenstein, because their friends haven't seen any old movies ever. And I'm kind of being silly to myself when I say that that just scared the bejesus out of me. Andrew came in. I didn't know he was coming home. I saw something out of the corner of my eye. Okay, I'm recovering. Zen, go to the happy place.
That's what it's like for me half the time when someone comes in the room. Since I'm so hard of hearing, I get scared, startled so easily. My family both loves it and hates it.
I'll bet. And once I have these headphones on and this microphone, which is very, very isolating, I can't hear anything from that end of the room. So I don't know how long he was standing there. But I was probably saying something that didn't really matter about Gene Wilder. So we were inviting the kids over to show them these movies, and they're figuring out who can come over right now. But I realized that their friends might go, why would I want to come see those movies? So I've put together a list of YouTube links of Gene Wilder clips from those films. He and Cleavon Little in Blazing Saddles, they are so good together. And
I'm going to have to try to watch that again. I think I got
past the first scene.
Yeah, I don't think I got past the first scene the last time I tried to watch it, and I was like, I can't take this.
No, it's the thing that I think is interesting about Blazing Saddles is it is so of a time, whereas Young Frankenstein really is kind of timeless. And the producers is just completely insane. But Blazing Saddles, the thing about it that I think is interesting is that there are jokes that you couldn't make now. There are jokes that you shouldn't have made then or now. But there is, like with Young Frankenstein, there is a heart underneath that film that's important and easy to lose sight of. And then on top of that, there are so many one-liners that people just reference, whether it's Hedley Lamarr jokes or the Madeline Kahn doing her impression of Marlene Dietrich in Destry Rides Again, where she's the saloon singer, and she has this song, and she has a beautiful opera trained voice. Madeline Kahn did the "I'm tired of being desired," and she's doing this whole bad Marlene Dietrich. She is so funny.
Yeah, she's great.
And she wasn't the girl with the big chest who is also in the film, like with all the Monty Python movies. She actually gets to be funny. And she's gone too. God, we're losing them all.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then
Put the candle.
loves Mel Brooks movies.
Yeah,
You got to be in the right headspace for it, though.
you do. You absolutely do. And there are scenes in Blazing Saddles that are really funny if you're an 11-year-old boy. And then there's the rest of the movie. But yeah, there are words that are used quite frequently in that film that make me very uncomfortable. But in the film, those are the bad people. And it's nice to know that that was the point.
That it's the bad people who use that language. Yeah.
Yes. And I think it's one of the things that we traced in Huckleberry Finn too, that when you see the language starting to cross that line, 98% of the time, it's either because you're talking to a bad person, or it's a place where Huck has been trained, so clearly trained by his horrible, horrible father and the way he's been mistreated by all of the other adults.
Right.
But it doesn't match his actions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that's so tricky about that book, and tricky about teaching it, because I told my kids, I'm not going to use this word. It's not my word. It's a hateful word for me. It makes me very uncomfortable. But you're certainly welcome to. If we read stuff out loud, that's fine. However, if anyone in class has a problem hearing the word out loud, you need to just anonymously drop a note on my desk and say, don't say it, fourth period. I mean, one note is all it's going to take, and we'll all just pause instead of saying slave, which is the wrong thing to say, because slaves were 3/5 of a person. And that's taking away the violence of the word. It's a different kind of violence.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to be able to see those two things playing out in Huck Finn, or you're going to miss Mark Twain's point. So it's tricky. And that word does pop up in Blazing Saddles, partly for the same reason, which is sad. God, that means 100 years later, it's still the same problems.
People are people.
Right? What's up with that?
People are people. Back in 50 BC and now, they're still people are people, and the same issues.
Parts is parts.
Yeah, exactly. Gazak.
Yeah. I'm reading the chat stream.
Yeah.
We have such awesome people.
I know. People who live in the Mel Brooks headspace. You know, when I think of Mel Brooks movies, I think of
Springtime for Hitler.
History of the World Part 1, which he never made
to be the
part
king.
2. But when Sarah was in 6th grade, her English and social studies teacher in social studies class showed a clip from History of the World Part 1.
Ooh.
Now the clip showed was fine. And it was funny. It was the whole Moses and the 10 commandments and
I love
all that.
The Inquisition.
But my problem with it wasn't with the exact clip he used, but with the fact of his using a clip from an R-rated movie in a 6th grade class, because it made all the kids want to go watch the movie. When my kids home from school, let's watch History of the World Part 1. I'm like, no, we're not going to watch it. No, you may not. Oh, but Mr. Harris showed a clip. Oh, that's nice, but Mr. Harris from the parents to show a clip from an R-rated movie in 6th grade. And
we did have to do some fancy footwork at various times with fast forward buttons when the kids had similar things happen. And I would go back and watch the movie and go, okay, well, there are these scenes you can watch now, And the rest of them, you're just going to have to wait a little while.
Yeah. I appreciate that Abby's one of her teachers sent home a list of these are movies that we might see during the year. They have assorted different ratings. If you have an issue with any of these movies, please let me know. I can't guarantee we're going to see all of them, but we won't see anything not on this list. We will see it. And some of them were R-rated. So she had, the teacher did the right thing by getting the parents' permission, because in a sophomore English class, nobody's 17. So, So, but some of them I wasn't familiar with, but I'm fine with my kids seeing Schindler's List. My kids have seen Schindler's List.
Absolutely.
Stuff like that.
So. Yeah. No, there are definitely lines, and I used to watch Siskel and Ebert religiously, and whatever year it was, Scarface came out, and I was not 17 yet, and they were just
for this story
raving about it. Yes, when I thought I had nailed my parents, I knew I was going to get to go see the movie. Yeah, and they said no, and I thought it was because they were being prudes, and they said no, that kind of violence has no part of your life. We don't care if you see sex. Sex is fine. That's normal. But no. Although I don't know that they would have said that about Game of Thrones. I've just watched the first 2 episodes of Game of Thrones, and I'm thinking there is sex that probably they wouldn't have wanted me to see because it was violent. So maybe it is all wrapped up in the same thing. But
doesn't Game of Thrones have incest too?
Oh, it has everything. I really seriously name it. I haven't seen leather masks yet. I'm kind of, it's going to happen.
That part's getting edited out of the audio for the.
I was just trying to think what is that scene in Pulp Fiction? Isn't it Bruce Willis?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Pulp Fiction.
Oh. Well, then you haven't seen Samuel L. Jackson do the Ezekiel speech? Oh, Erica.
No.
I'm gonna have to send you a Wrath of God clip of Samuel Jackson. I think it's the reason that he got famous. It wasn't just that he and John Travolta were funny or violent or good. It was this one speech. And wow. I will send you a clip.
Okay. And I should admit right here and now that I also have not seen Rocky Horror. In a spoof of Rocky Horror, I used to work at this law firm, which I don't know how they got away with this, but every year they did a skit that was a takeoff on some known musical like Camelot and one year they did a spoof on Rocky Horror. At a work Christmas party.
Yeah, maybe no.
Interesting. It was interesting. Yeah. I'm flashing back suddenly and remembering some of the things that they got away with, some things that they got away with in rehearsal but didn't make it into the show.
Oh
they had a labor department, and the labor department lawyers were freaking out.
Yeah, harassment charges. Hello. I think now
because they slept with someone else, and so yeah.
I think at this point in life, if you went and saw Rocky Horror and you went sober, which we would because we are responsible adults now, you would find it quite dull. But the soundtrack is worth listening to.
Yes. And I know enough about it to get the jokes.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
You know, I mean, I have some visual images from, you know, and I get the jokes about Janet and knockers and side and Frankenfurter and, you know, all that. But
Yep.
well, yes, and a lot of it is audience participation.
Yes, and not only spit take adults, not only is it audience participation, but I think it's the audience participation that makes it work. It's not a good show. I mean, it's not a good movie. I've watched it on videotape. It's just boring, except for the songs.
To get a cult following.
No,
half the
no.
time, movies with cult followings are not good movies.
Yeah.
You know,
and in fact, we watched Big Trouble in Little China recently, which was a I know, but it is. I know, but it is also a cult thing.
It's so cheesy.
It is totally cheesy. And the best thing is, I totally dissed it when it came out. I was so insulted that anyone would want me to go see this movie. And then, you know, you're watching it, and there's the part where he's supposed to be the greatest American hero, Kurt Russell, playing on his stereotype. And there's that moment where he's all excited because they're about to win. And so he fires his gun into the air and the bricks hit him on the head and he knocks himself out for the end. And we were reading the interviews with all of them because it's the whateverth anniversary of the movie. And he was talking about how he was cast because he was Kurt Russell. And all of these Asian actors who were very famous Asian actors at the time were cast in these kind of secondary roles. And he was very uncomfortable with it. And there was a lot of discussion on the set with Carpenter. And finally, Kurt Russell said, look, I can't compete with these guys who are actual martial artists. And I can't compete with their characters just as good people. So I need to be the screw up and they need to kick some butt and I need to be the joke. And they all kind of sat around and went, yeah, okay. And I think that may have been the first time that someone had pulled that off quite so well. And it's strange that it'd be a John Carpenter movie because I don't think of him as being, you know, a great auteur of this kind of comedy. But boy, I think that movie probably has aged better than it was back then, even. There's some stunts in there that totally are Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. What, 15, 20 years before? Just because they had some amazing martial artists.
Maybe I'll make my kids watch it tonight.
Oh, Evil Dead? Evil Dead wasn't Evil Dead the first one? And then it was the second one that was the one that got famous. Now I can't remember the name of it. I'm looking at the chat window.
Yeah.
But Bruce Campbell, anything Bruce Campbell does. I don't know if I mentioned it, we got the Briscoe County CD set or DVD set from Amazon for like $2 because nobody was buying Briscoe County. And it was the TV show that Fox showed right before the X-Files. And the X-Files took off and Briscoe County was canceled after the first season.
Yeah, I don't remember it at all.
It's a huge shame because it was a multiracial cast at a time when nobody was doing multiracial casting. And Bruce Campbell, again, when you talk about something having heart, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell and the Coen brothers all coming up together, growing up together. There's a lot of heart in those guys. And Bruce Campbell, when he went in for his audition, they were in this tiny little room. I guess it was like an 8x10 room. So he could barely stand at a reasonable distance from the guys. And it was a physical scene that he was reading. And so he flipped himself. He was having an argument with somebody and he was going to get yanked off his feet in the scene. So he grabbed himself by the shirt and he flipped himself because it's one of the things that he learned how to do on Evil Dead. And they're like, hired.
Oh my God.
You're it. And it was, he could do that kind of physical humor. And then he made you really care about this guy. And it's a sweet, sweet TV show. But yeah, nobody remembers it. That's why I think his what was his autobiography, If Chins Could Talk or something like that, because he's got that fabulous cleft chin. And he is, yes, AT just wrote, and he's scared of horses. And they talk about that in the DVD extras. It's also the first time I've ever seen DVD extras that focus on the writers. So there's a round table because one of the writers who became the showrunner was Carlton Cuse, who was part of Lost. And so by the time they were putting this DVD set together, Carlton Cuse was somebody. And so they got all of the main writers back together again for a round table. And it's amazing to get to hear the writers. It's like at the beginning of Deadpool when they do their goofy cast announcements at the beginning where Ryan Reynolds is listed as God's perfect idiot. And it goes through a massive CGI character and a surly teenage girl. And that's how they're announcing the cast at the beginning. There are no above the name titles. It's all just ridiculous.
Love it.
And then the last one is written by the real heroes here.
Nice.
Yeah. So two places where the writers actually get some credit.
Cool. And AT says the book is actually called If Chins Could Kill.
That was it. It's so funny if you like Bruce Campbell at all. And I don't know.
Figure out who Bruce Campbell is.
So I'm thinking, did you see Hudsucker Proxy?
No.
Did you see Burn Notice on TV?
No, but I'm aware that it existed.
Okay, I didn't watch it, but he's in that. There's something else that you may have seen him in not too long ago, but he no, I almost had it and then I lost it again. It's
AT says he was in Hercules and Xena as Autolycus, the Prince of Thieves.
That's right. Well,
Sarah is because Sarah loves Xena.
That makes sense. Did you see Raising Arizona back in the day?
I don't think I did. I don't think I ever got around to it.
Oh. Well, first off, being from Arizona for some span of time, there's a certain veracity to that movie that is lost on people who don't live in Arizona. So that's worth a look. But there's some camera work in that film that's amazing. Truly amazing. They have a camera race across the desert. So it's the camera's point of view and it's racing across the desert and you're kind of like going over cactus and stuff. And then the camera goes up and over a fountain and then across a driveway and then up a ladder into a window. And then it zooms in on a crib inside the window.
Wow.
That is physically impossible.
Yeah.
You can't do that with a dolly track. You can't do that with any kind of a winch system. There's nothing you can do except
a drone.
You can have Sam Raimi be your director of photography and mount a camera on a 2x4 and have the Coen brothers at each end holding the 2x4 and they ran with it. So they could lift it over everything and they get it up about halfway up the ladder and there's a cut that you can't see. And then they have it on a crane.
That's crazy.
That kind of clever. I like that kind of clever.
That's cool. Robin says Bubba Hotep.
Yes. That is, boy, you have to be a real Bruce Campbell fan to have liked Bubba Hotep, but I did. It was fun. And he spoofs himself all the time though. Bruce Campbell's he's a charming guy. And still married to the same woman. It's got to be like 30 years.
Oh, I love seeing that.
I know. I have a lot of respect for that because that's a very hard industry to do that inside of.
Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward.
Right? I know. I wish Paul Newman were still alive. I love him so much. He'll always be Butch to me.
Yes.
He'll always be Luke to my husband, but he's Butch to me. You keep thinking there, Butch. That's what you do. That's what you're good at. You've seen Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, haven't you?
And I've seen Cool Hand Luke.
Okay. Good. I need to make a list of all the movies that we've shown our kids, because now they're starting to come back and going, you know, Mom, that movie that you made me watch that I wasn't really excited about watching, yeah, that helped a lot in history class today.
Oh, Abby saw a movie that sounds called Mommy. Teacher had mentioned it, and but because of language, it's clean.
Right. Who is in it? Why'd she see it? I don't think I've heard it. Is this new or is this an old one?
I'm trying to remember. Talk amongst yourselves while I look it up.
She's looking it up. All right. Oh, I put up link in the chat window for a while ago, and just so you know why I did it, people. That is a live action Rocky Horror show that was broadcast in the UK in 2015, like they do. What is it? The Fathom live events here in the United States.
Oh, yeah.
They did the same thing with Rocky Horror, and it is shocking to see it on stage. It's not what I expected. And you made your kid. Okay, now Robin, when you say that you made your kid watch Flash Gordon, are you talking about the 1930s black and white serial, or are you talking about Flash Gordon that Queen did the soundtrack for? We need to know. We need to know your rationale.
Okay. I found it's a 2014 movie, 2 hours and 19 minutes long. It's not Flash Gordon. So this movie, Mommy, it says the channel on IMDb says a widowed single mother raising her violent son alone when a mysterious neighbor inserts herself into their household. Abby said they basically like a family, not like the neighbor don't become a couple or anything, but it's right. Like a little family. And she said it was really so I'm gonna have to squeeze that in sometime.
Someone, I think someone very, very famous is following me on Periscope suddenly and all of a sudden, and oh my good God.
Very famous.
Well, no, but I have an idea as to how she found me. Not found, like that sounds like she's stalking me. No, like discovered. Oh, and speaking of, I know some of you watched the interview that I did with the MapCon people, the Mid-Atlantic podcasting thing that I'm going to go speak at. Actually, I'll be there at it when the next CraftLit posts on September 9th. I did an interview. It was live streaming on Facebook, which is incredibly uncomfortable because unlike this, where it switches back and forth between me and Erica, on the Facebook one, the camera is only ever on me. So while this guy is talking, the camera is on me. And I could tell, and it's really, yeah, you can't like take a drink of water. It's really awful. But, you know, I'm used to stuff that we do getting some views because, you know, we have our regular group of people who show up like today to the chat window, but then we have quite a few people come by and watch it afterwards. There's almost 800 views of that interview. And now I understand. I've been watching the numbers of visits to our different sites and the numbers of people coming into the CraftLit group on Facebook, which is the two most active places are Ravelry and Facebook. And I couldn't figure out where all these people were coming from. And now I know.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'm putting the same call out. I'm still finishing writing my talk. And so if anytime between now and September 8th, anyone has a comment that they want to add or a photograph that they want to add, I'm using all of the pictures from everybody of the, this is what I do while I listen to podcasts, pictures. And, and I'm also adding, these are things podcasters do that work and make it easy for me to listen. And these are things that podcasters do that don't work and make it hard or frustrating for me to listen. And you don't have to worry about hurting my feelings. I know there are plenty of things that I should be doing better. Someday they'll happen. But in the meantime, I got a very interesting response from one of our listeners who is not here today about show notes and needing to have the show notes going in order, preferably with timestamps, which I've done before, but I haven't done recently. And she went into a really interesting explanation of why, as someone who is busy when she is listening, she really needs to be able to go back and look. And that she finally stopped listening to NPR shows because they won't do that.
They don't or they won't? There's a difference.
She has complained and they won't. They haven't.
I wonder why. That's weird.
It takes a long time. It's hard. It's annoying. It's time consuming. I don't know. All of those. Or they don't care. Because they really, I mean, they don't have to care, right? People are they're gonna have hundreds of thousands of listens no matter what. It doesn't matter to them. Whereas to podcasters, it's kind of useful to know that stuff. So I'm doing my whole talk is on ADD, the ADD mind and the things that it needs in order to be able to track and follow and remember, which we all know from the cognitive anchoring knitting thing. And then if you aren't keeping these things in mind, you are potentially losing listeners and or not enticing new listeners. But it kind of comes down to the same thing that when I was in California and they had to train us all for ESL, what is it? I had to get a language development specialist certificate. The entire state of California was trained all one spring, and you had to pass a test. But the thing that I realized in going through that was that the kind of teaching that they were telling us we needed to do for our second language learners was just good teaching. And it's kind of the same thing with the ADD thing, is you can look at ADD minds, you can look at busy people, you can look at all of that stuff, and you can see all the strategies that will help them access the information. But just because I'm talking about it from the framework of the ADD mind doesn't mean that doesn't apply to everybody. It's just really quite necessary for the ADD people. So yeah, and I see people are typing comments into the chat window, and that's awesome because I need that.
And speaking of things that work and don't work, I apologize. I was lazy today and didn't put up my screen. So getting my tacky wall heater and my bookshelf and our photo gallery in the hallway. See the photo gallery in the hallway.
That's so okay.
Sorry, guys. I know it looks better with the screen, but I just really didn't feel like crashing around putting that thing up this morning.
I'm half in shadow, so This was kind of the fly-by-night thing. And oh my gosh, it's been an hour, 15 minutes.
Yeah, we should probably call it, huh?
I know, it's like we've been sitting here while we're talking to each other. We're also talking to everybody in the chat window, and it's fun, and I missed you guys. So this has been a long one.
Thank you. He says it's homey. Let's see. And then there's my horrible desk. And then there's my bookcase that's just all covered in everything, and the mess on the floor. And then there's the upper part of my desk.
Oh yeah,
and the upper part of my desk.
Your desk is so way more neater than mine.
Well, my desk is in the living room, so it kind of has to be.
Yeah. Well, mine is sort of at the back of the living room, and it so isn't. Although I did clean off the art table.
That's funny.
When did you start living in my house? I know, we all feel better, don't we?
Yeah.
I know. It's good. Well, next week we'll be back to normal, and I think we get Dawn next week as well. So we will be able to catch up on all of our summer knitting and crocheting-ness. And next week there'll be a CraftLit too. War of the Worlds is continuing. And the YouTube stuff is growing and changing. There's some new additions that are coming up on the YouTube channel that it's all new. The whole landscape ecosystem of YouTube is so weird to me, but I figure people will tell me whether they like stuff or not. So, oh, and thing one is animating. He's done a comic, he's done one animation, and he's working on the next one, and he has several scripts in the can for another animated series.
Nice.
He's decided he wants to go into that, and so he's working it. So yeah.
Well, if he needs an actress who doesn't have a mature enough vibe to play Nora in Doll's House,
actually,
I've got someone whose audition was phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm a little ticked about that too.
Yet somehow doesn't get to,
yeah.
English teacher heard who she was cast as and said, I don't see her as that at all.
Who'd she get cast at? This is for Doll's House, for everybody.
One of the children. One of the children.
What? It's, oh God, it's a height thing. How tall is the girl who got Nora?
The same size as she is.
How tall is the Torvald?
I don't know, but I mean, they're both the girl who got it and Abby are like my height or shorter. So it's just one of those things, you know, you can't do anything about it. It's a life lesson. You've got to go with it. I think she's going to be assistant director.
That's good.
And in which case her job is to make everybody else look as good as she can, right? Make the show as good as it can be, even if everybody else flops.
Well, and she's going to get to see how the sausage gets made. And it wasn't until I did that I started to understand, oh, and that's why I didn't get cast in that show. You know, I thought it was failure on my part or evilness on the part of the director or whatever. And then you start finding out that there's a whole lot of stuff. But the thing that you said that ticks me off is that after all of this, after saying she was phenomenal, that the teacher came back and said that she had too young a vibe. And that's the kind of thing that when that happens, if you're good, when that happens and you see talent, but maybe not the right taste to the whole flavor to the whole thing, that's when you give a direction like, okay, same scene, but think older. Because if at that point the actor can do it, you have somebody who can A, take direction, and B, who's good enough to pull it off. And now you know you've got your person. And that teacher didn't do that. And that did tick me off.
So, who knows why really, but
I like Robin's comment. If you want to be popular, volunteer to be stage manager and take it seriously. So true.
Yeah, she did that last year, and
she did.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a big deal. In fact, there's a fabulous Ham for Ham for the Hamilton stage door things where they do the 10 Dual Commandments, which is a big dance number. And they pulled their stage manager out and they handed him the mic. And the entire company did the song a cappella with all of their movements, which included they had to fake 2 turntables rotating in opposite directions simultaneously. and they had him call the show. So the thing that's on the mic is lights 47, go. Stage 368, go. And he called the whole thing while they did the song. And if you've never seen a stage manager do that before, woof.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And one more book before we go to the other. So in addition to Abby auditioning for A Doll's House as the school play for the fall, it also the sophomore honors English class studies it, and they read it over the summer. But also a book that they read that she just had me read was The Awakening. Pam,
I've been thinking about doing that for a long time.
It's short.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading it. Why didn't we read this in my women's literature class in college?
Uh-huh.
I don't know why we didn't read it.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked.
I'm really surprised we didn't read that. And Abby and I are not necessarily in agreement about the ending. I won't spoil it, but I think one thing for sure happened. She thinks maybe it didn't happen. So we shall see. It'll be interesting to see what the teacher thinks. Yeah,
very interesting.
What she thinks. So
well, it's been on my short list for a long time. So so you never know when these things will pop up.
Yeah, well,
all right.
After doing Herland, they might accuse you of being all feminist and stuff if you do The Awakening too.
I know, right? Because ew, like girl stuff again. Ew.
Though her teacher from last year did, she said she actually presented a paper on how she believed The Awakening tried to be feminist but failed.
Ooh, now that could be an interesting conversation to have.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's Awakening's on my short list. Candide has been on my short list for a long time. There's something else that had been on my short list. Oh, well, War of the Worlds. But somebody had been talking about Russian stuff. I need to find something that's Russian that's short and well translated. That's hard.
Yeah.
Toshi, how appalling to be considered a feminist. What? Oh God, we were talking. Oh no, it was thing 2. It's like, Mom, explain to me what this whole feminist thing is. I'm like, oh honey, how long do you have? we could be here for a little while because it goes on and on and on. Oh, and now we're quoting more poetry. So until we go back to quoting Mel Brooks movies, I probably need to go because my kids are going to walk in the door in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, happy back to school.
Thank you. Yes, it's nice to have my life back a little bit. Oh, and the Metamorphosis. That's not Russian, is it?
Kafka.
Kafka. Did Kafka write? Why did I think he was German? However, Metamorphosis is an interesting book because it's usually badly translated.
Yes. All right. Well, we should go.
All righty. Good to see everybody in the chat window. Good to see you, Erica, in like face humanness. Very cool. And Kafka is German. Yay. All right. Have a good week. We will see you all later.
Bye.